Robert Rostick, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Actually, I'm just going to jump out and say Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Raising Unmanageables. I am Bevo from Beach and Maine, and
I am Robert Rostick from TRG Studio, Tampa,
Florida. And today we are going to jump into the new year with a new conversation.
Yes.
Free flow today. Mm-hmm. We didn't really talk about a concept or a topic today, but we're just going to let it come off the top of the dome and let these bunnies and things that our director photographer back here and our executive producer have decided to provide for us today. So
I just think right now we're about to jump a shark.
We jumped the shark
yeah,
for sure.
We're about to jump a shark.
So Alex, we can't go back from this point. So it has to be
bigger and better each week. Too.
Absolutely. So that's going to be your job, is to get us there, right? You're the youth in the room, so you got to get us there. You convinced me to take this leap. I don't even know what it looks like. Anyway, Robert, how was your holiday, man?
Holidays were okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, the missus left and went to China,
yeah.
And that was really good. She's back now, and got to see the Great Wall and got to do some teaching over there. So that's pretty good.
That's awesome.
And the girls came home, the daughters came home for Christmas and took care of me while she was away.
Nice.
That was really good too.
I saw those pictures you took.
Yeah.
The one outside in the front yard with them around the tree.
Oh yeah, no, that was not around our front yard.
Oh, whose yard
so
was
what we
it?
did was we went into a neighborhood, a gated community, and we waited for the gates to open. And then we just shot in there at night, and then we went to several houses and stood in front of the house and then made pictures.
Right.
So that's kind of like what we did.
Right.
And we decided that we're going to do that annually.
Okay.
It's called Robber House.
Robber House.
Robber House, yeah.
Robber House with the Rostics?
Now, Robber House with the Rostics, where we go in, we don't actually go inside, but we make pictures in front of your house and treat it as though it's our own.
Just photobomb people.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works.
Okay.
So
I can dig that.
It was a lot of fun.
It's imaginative.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But you got to go into gated communities. They have the better lights.
Oh, yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't come to my community because we have zero lights.
No.
Plus, you wouldn't be able to see it from the street. We kind of live like in a treehouse swamp situation.
It's like haunted house.
Yeah, it's like a haunted house.
So we'll do that on Halloween at your house.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We'd be very suitable for that.
It was a very, very good experience to do that with the girls.
That's awesome.
And they had a good time.
You know, we were talking about it being imaginative, I think I just had that dialogue in my head just now about imagination. And we were thinking about this over the weekend and over the past couple weeks about imagination and how far imagination gets you. And, you know, you in your situation with your kids and y'all went into this neighborhood, you used your imagination to come up with some family fun time to spend with each other. And I just think it's really cool. But I think it's a thing that we've kind of gotten away from too.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, even in the creative realm.
I don't think that we necessarily get away from the imagination. I think we get away from acting on that imagination.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the ideas come in our heads, in and out of our heads all day, all the time. It's just a matter of picking one and then actually doing it before it leaves us.
Right.
And I think that's what the bigger problem is, because even today, this idea of bunny ears or whatever it is that's showing up on
we gotta look right in the camera.
On the
I don't even know.
Even that, it's like, okay, it's silly and it's funny, but unless we actually do it, it's simply an idea. It's nothing.
Right.
So we're doing it.
Right. We're actually doing it. And you know, I think when I said people don't know how to use it anymore, I think it's a matter of we kind of get ourselves into these spots where it's almost kind of not needed from us a lot of the times because we have these processes and we have these protocols already set up to where they don't want you to use your imagination, or we kind of learn how not to use it because of the fact, or not take action on it because we're working in places where someone else already imagined that for us. Now they just need us to do the job.
Sure.
Almost kind of what I did today was taken away.
You almost took away our photographer's job.
Almost took away a photographer's job.
Yeah, you did.
Which is pretty much the only way we can do this is to have somebody actually manning a camera.
And their newspapers have done this advertising agencies have done this. They've taken away photographers, and look at where they got them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I was doing it because I was thinking like, well, this is just going to be easier and simpler to do. However, thank you for talking shit behind my back.
Yeah,
'cause that made it work. And, I can't see that well, but I can hear pretty good. And
see, sometimes it's not always best to be easier,
right,
and simpler.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's best to challenge oneself to be greater,
right,
and to be more effective.
Especially when you have literally someone who supposedly is learning from you as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when you open up your environment as a learning environment, taking away challenges and taking away tasks, even if they're mundane sometimes, may just be taking away the will to even want to do that job in the first place.
Because you talk about imagination. When one person is doing a job, no matter what the job is, whatever it is, what they're doing is, and a lot of times, is imagining, how can I do this better? How can I be more efficient in it? Or how can I advance from this to the next portion of this type of environment? Those things are imaginations that are in working inside the brain in order to help facilitate a new level, a new form of wanting to do something. And if you take that away, what happens?
I don't know, but I cannot take away the imagination of rewatching this after the fact. So I'm going to continue to, I can't talk. I'm going to continue to laugh all the way through this because I'm just thinking about what this looks like. So my imagination is on 105,000 right now. No, but yeah, so thinking about that and using that for how we learn, how we teach others. And I had a conversation last week about imagination specifically because I was trying to help a friend of mine. You met her, Laura Thorne. We were just talking about how to distill down what it is that we do. Right, we're both in these industries where, even though we're in different industries, we're kind of aligned with each other with the kind of work that we do. And your industry, photography, my industry, advertising, graphic design, her industry, whether it be working with nonprofits and other organizations to help them with their effectiveness and help them grow from that point where they are now. It comes pre-installed with a lot of processes, a lot of jargon, a lot of ways that we should be talking about the industry, and a lot of ways that you have to be in that industry to understand what the hell the people are talking about anyway. So we were always trying to figure out like how do we talk to regular people and still exercise our intelligence and still show them that we're trustworthy, intelligent, and can get the job done for them, but just talk it down to where they can understand it. And so
you're speaking in a very serious nature, but I imagine whiskers all over my face.
Yes.
At some point.
And I got bunny ears flopping. So, and that's going to be the hardest part. And it's probably like no one's going to watch this because they can't even figure out like how to see through the bunny ears right now. But we were talking, and so we played this game, and it was like, how do we imagine 5-year-old children were going to start businesses, and we were going to come in to help them. How would we explain to a 5-year-old how we can help them run their business and make money in their business, right? So we just had this exchange back and forth of how to, just lack of a better term, dumb this down to where distill all of the highfalutin talk of efficiency, effectiveness, or in my behalf, branding and marketing and advertising and what these things actually mean, and just take them and just put them into this thing where anybody can understand it. And it took a lot of imagination to get to that point of having that conversation.
These words, the jargon, the acronyms that we use were used to help within the industry to make things more efficient,
right,
and put people on the same page. But at the same time, you start to alienate the people around you who don't know the jargon, who don't know what you're talking about. But then when you start dumbing it back down again, then you're going to have to build up a new set of jargon. It is a cyclical manner of doing things. And we're always cyclical. The world is always going around and around and around. But as we build up on one thing, we tear down another, and then so we can build it back up again. Right. So I guess I'm rambling to say that the one thing that you can teach a 5-year-old about business, about any form of business, is to say that there is one reason to be here. It is not to make the lemonade that you're making, because you can do that inside the house. You don't have to come out and set up a stand and all that kind of stuff. You coming here to do business is because you want something other than what you're selling.
Right.
You want a bicycle. You want new shoes. You want raise some money for a charity. You want something other than what you're doing. And the way you are going to get it is by doing what you do best.
Right. Right.
So that's the bottom line
right.
to business. And you got to get some form of compensation for that.
And it was an interesting conversation, because it definitely, it set me off on this little mini journey over the last couple of weeks of just finding it out for myself. Not finding out what it is that I do, because I'm pretty clear on that now, but how I'm actually helping. And I think there is a component about what you said earlier that is right, where if we dumb it down too much, then we'll have to change it again. But I think it's less of a matter of what I learned this weekend of changing the word, and more a matter of, I think, internally anyway, of teaching from whatever perspective the client comes in at. So if it's big business, they already know these terms. A small business knows that they just want to succeed, and they know they just want to make money, and they know that they want a lifestyle that they want to trade for their time and their services, right? To be able to get that lifestyle. And it's really just taking all these terms that we have and giving it to them in a manner they can understand how it will help their business in the future, versus dumbing it all the way down or distilling it all the way down to this point where now we have to, in 10 years' time, now that we've educated all these small business people, now we got to turn around and do the same thing for them. And we're just fluctuating back and forth, trying to find the right terminology for, any word.
Everyone isn't designed to be in business.
No.
Everyone isn't. Just because you think that you have a product that you can sell, just because you're passionate about something, just because you feel a desire to be on your own, doesn't mean that you're suited for being in business. Sometimes we're suited to take orders.
Right.
No matter how much we desire something, it doesn't mean that we're willing to put in the time, energy, and effort in order to make that happen.
Right.
And when it comes to business, or even though you may be good at designing, you may be good at being a photographer, it doesn't mean that you're going to be a good business person.
Right.
Because business is one thing and one thing only. It's survival to stay in business.
It's so hard.
With the purpose of thriving.
It's so hard.
That's all it is.
It is so hard.
It's going to be hard, and it's always hard. Just like when you go to join a basketball team, they're going to do tryouts, and at some point, everybody's not going to make it.
Right.
Because there is a certain standard of sustainability.
Right.
And if you're not able to meet that standard of sustainability, then you're doomed to fail. And that's what Small Business Association is for, is to give you guidance as to how you will succeed, and or let you know you're doomed to fail with what you think you're bringing to the table. If you're bringing just your heart, it ain't enough.
Right. Right.
If you're bringing just your talent, it ain't enough. If you're bringing just your willingness, it ain't enough. You got to have all of that and be willing to have the staying power to go up and down. Because if you're in it, we talked about this before, to make that quick buck, go sell crack. I'm just saying, go sell crack.
Don't sell crack.
Go sell crack.
Don't sell crack. Please don't sell crack.
Because
I have seen the results.
you are, and yes,
your future is so grim.
then that's exactly what the alternative is.
Right.
That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
Is that if you, I said the purpose of business is to stay in business, sustainability. And if that's not the case, then do something that's not, it's going to do just what you want, get you a quick buck.
Right. Right.
And usually there's a trigger on the other end of that buck,
Right.
and it's usually followed by a shot.
Right.
Okay.
Just in case you didn't get that buckshot, triggers just for the slow people. Okay. Woo. Anyway, new year, Robert Rossi. It's a new year.
Okay. Yes.
And we're hopefully going to do things slightly different than we did last year. Right. I want to. I'm assuming that you want to.
Yeah.
What are some of those things that you're looking forward to this year?
I'm not so much looking to do things differently than last year. I do plan on continuing to evolve. That part is
What's
is
that evolution
most
look like?
We've talked about the path of artistry, and working more to learn about it, to experiment in it, and to grow from it.
Right.
Those are my goals for the upcoming year and the years to come. So it's not so much that I'm doing things differently, because I am who I am. I have my weaknesses. I get depressed at times. I get unmotivated. I get to the point where I go like, I don't want to do this, or why am I doing this? But then on the other hand, I tend to kick myself in the butt, slap myself in the face, and get back on my horse, and then do what it takes to make it happen. So I will continue to do that because that's who I am. Right. But the direction is going to be different. Instead of it being wholly photography in the commercial sense, it will be a little bit more additive of artistry.
As a photographer, as an artist.
Yeah.
I can date that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
Where are you headed?
Me, I specifically made a goal to make new memories, specifically in the travel department. Traveling. A lot of my travel goals are from my past. And although I had some good times in that part of my past, I keep telling the same stories all over again. You know, I'm old enough now that I keep telling the same stories all over because they're the good ones in my mind. So it's just a matter of wanting to be able to travel more and not just see new things, but travel to where other people are and talk to other people in other areas. So in light of that, I am taking myself I'll be going to Boston for the first time. In February, though.
Oh, man.
All right. So
just be careful where you park the car.
I won't have a car to park because I'll be going to a client of mine. Her birthday is in February. So I'll be going up there for that. So it'll be ridiculously different than here, weather-wise, I imagine. And I'm kind of looking forward to that because I've just never been in those conditions around this time of the year. So that's one thing. And then just physically, just to keep advancing and not break down and get old before I'm old. So that's it, man.
Sounds good. Then that's our deal for the new year. I'm very curious to hear from you as to what yours is.
And you know what, though? I really do want, because both of our businesses are, I think, at a point where, and I'm hoping we're turning and we're squaring off against being able to just like make bigger gains, even financially, right? And we've worked, yourself and me as individuals, we've worked to establish ourselves in different ways in our businesses. And I see a lot of opportunity right now for just growth because we've learned a lot just doing this and working. This has allowed us to work closer together and to be able to do that in a way that it keeps a learning environment open and keeps that environment growing. So I do want to see that not just for Unmanageables, but for Beach and Main and TRG, is just to keep creating environments where people can come in and they can learn and make it fun to give them responsibilities, because like the mistake I made earlier. I don't want to make that mistake again. And I want to be able to give that away and let somebody else grow in that space and provide me with information that I may or may not know on how to do certain things. So I want that real wide open and be able to learn from more people in this new year.
You know, I know we're about to sign off, and we appreciate all you guys out there listening to us and watching us. But I'm going to tell you, Brian, I just love listening to your voice. It's so smooth.
Won't you be my neighbor? Thank you, Robert Rossi.
And now it's time to go.
I appreciate it. So, everybody, Happy New Year. Thank you to whoever watched this ridiculous episode on Facebook just now, letting us get back into the saddle and get reacquainted with everybody in the room. I hope everybody goes out and starts their journey into whatever it is that you want to be doing, whether it's work, life, travel, whatever it is, get out and do that part. And Robert Rossi.
Make sure that as you're doing it, be slightly, a little bit unmanageable.
That's right. Appreciate you. Thank y'all. Happy New Year. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Mason. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for smiling and laughing and cheering. Bye.